Scientists have discovered the true ferocity of a huge volcanic eruption off the coast of Tonga in January. Research ships found that flows of debris stretching at least 80 kilometres across the seabed.
When Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai blew its top in January, it scattered water vapour and ash halfway to space and sent tsunami waves swelling out across the world.
Mountain, a volcano previously thought to be extinct, erupted this morning.
Scientists have discovered the true ferocity of a huge volcanic eruption. Volcanoes are enigmatic and formidable forces of nature with unbelievable power that can shatter the very foundation of the earth. These colossal mountains of molten rock and ash have the ability to unleash devastation on a scale that is beyond human comprehension. While most of us don't have to see the deadly effects of volcanic eruptions every day, this volcano even exceeded our maximum expectations about how far the effects of this eruption were. It doesn't mean that they don't happen a lot of the time, though these eruptions are fairly small. Sometimes they show their full force to make sure we know just how powerful they are. NASA just announced a 50 miles eruption has cracked open the Earth, and it's about to take everything down with it. Join us as we dig deeper into what happened and what it might mean for the survival of planet Earth. But before we get to that, you need to fully understand that volcanoes form as a result of the movement of tectonic plates which make up the Earth's crust. When these plates collide or separate, they can create cracks or fissures in the crust through which magma, gas, and ash can escape. This molten rock is called magma when it's beneath the Earth's surface and lava when it erupts onto the surface. But not all volcanoes are the same, and that's where things get even more interesting. What is the latest volcano that made scientists worry? Even a year later, scientists continue to be astounded by the Hunga Tonga explosion's power and puzzle over how to keep track of hundreds of such underwater volcanoes a year ago. Larry Paxton saw what he shouldn't have seen as he was peering toward the edge of space. Paxton, a physicist at Johns Hopkins University, looks down on the area of space just above the atmosphere using satellite-based sensors. They watch for things like unusual space weather and light spectrums that we can't see, like the far ultraviolet on a scan. Though his team noticed an oddity in late January, a portion of the map had turned dark. A dull spot around the size of Montana was created as a result of some kind of molecule absorbing the far UV light rays. The Hunga Tonga volcano, which had just erupted in the South Pacific, was soon identified as the cause. The molecules, which Paxton team ultimately calculated to be enough water to fill 100 Olympic swimming pools. Interestingly, there are three main types of volcanoes: shield volcanoes, cinder cone volcanoes, and stratovolcanoes. Let's start with shield volcanoes, the gentle giants of the volcanic world. These are low and broad, stretching for miles and miles, formed by the eruption of fluid lava shield volcanoes. They get their name from their shape, which resembles a warrior's shield lying on the ground. Unlike other types of volcanoes, shield volcanoes tend to have long, gentle slopes, making them some of the most peaceful and beautiful landscapes on Earth. The Hawaiian Islands are home to some of the most famous shield volcanoes, including Mauna Loa and Kilauea. These volcanoes have been erupting for thousands of years, creating new land over. Kilauea has been continuously erupting since 1983, making it one of the most active volcanoes on Earth. Despite their gentle nature, shield volcanoes can still cause destruction. When Kilauea erupted in 2018, the lava shot up to over 160 meters high. It destroyed over 700 homes and forced thousands to evacuate. The families affected by the destruction are still trying to regain a sense of life today. And that's just the starting point. Now let's talk about cinder cone volcanoes, the small but mighty members of the volcanic family. These steep cone-shaped mountains are formed by explosive eruptions of gas and ash. They're a little more cone-like than shield volcanoes, but still not super tall. Cinder cone volcanoes get their name from the small pieces of lava that are shot into the air during an eruption. These pieces of lava cool quickly and fall back to the ground, creating a pile of loose cinder-like rocks around the base of the volcano. While they may not be as impressive in size as shields or stratovolcanoes, cinder cone volcanoes still pack the almighty punch. They are capable of erupting explosively, sending ash and debris high into the air. Paracutin in Mexico is one of the most famous cinder cone volcanoes in the world. Because it grew from a cornfield in just 9 years, covering the town of San Juan Paracutin completely in lava. This just goes to show that even if a volcano is on the smaller side and not really that active, at any point things could change. They could just start erupting at any moment, and just not stop until they devour everything. But wait! We still have to talk about the final type, stratovolcanoes. The craziest ones of them all. These tall and steep volcanoes have alternating layers of lava, ash, and other volcanic materials. Stratovolcanoes get their name from their shape, which resembles a layer cake. Each layer represents a different period of eruption, giving scientists clues about the volcano's history. Stratovolcanoes are the most dangerous type of volcano, capable of producing explosive eruptions that can send ash and debris high into the atmosphere. Yes, not just the air, but into the atmosphere itself. Mount St. Helens in the United States and Mount Fuji in Japan are two of the most popular stratovolcanoes of them all. Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980, killing 57 people and causing over $1 billion in damage. Mount Fuji, on the other hand, is Japan's tallest mountain and a stunning example of a stratovolcano. This might just be the most popular volcano in history. What you might not know, though, is that Mount Fuji's last eruption was in 1707, but it remains an active volcano that could erupt again in the future. Despite its potential danger, thousands of people hike to the summit every year, drawn by its beauty and spiritual significance. But the danger still looms. You never know when Mount Fuji might erupt, taking thousands of homes with it. But you see, that's not the limit here. Some volcanoes know no bounds. But what happened with the Hunga Tonga volcano? On the 15th of January, 2022, the Hunga Tonga volcano in the Pacific erupted with a force equivalent to 110 megatons of TNT, twice as powerful as the biggest H-bomb ever made. This unleashed a massive amount of water vapor and aerosols into the atmosphere, triggering a phenomenon that would shock the world. Located in the Tonga Islands, the eruption began in December 2021 and reached its climax in January 2022, when the energy of the eruption shook not just the Pacific but the entire planet. Researchers from all corners of the globe arrived to study this phenomenon and its aftermath, which is still being analyzed even a year after the event. This submarine volcano reached a volcanic explosivity index of 5.7, making it the most powerful eruption since Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. What made Hunga Tonga unique, however, was the fact that it was a submarine volcano. Unlike Pinatubo, which was on land, Hunga Tonga's magma chamber was only a few tens of meters beneath the surface, with two portions of the caldera above sea level, forming the uninhabited islands of Hunga Tonga. This led to a huge amount of water reacting with the lava, which would have prematurely stopped the eruption had the volcano been located at a greater depth beneath the ocean's surface. But because it's not, things got really crazy really fast. The explosion blasted material right through the entire stratosphere and into the mesosphere to an altitude of 58 kilometers, making it the tallest volcanic plume ever recorded. The extremely rapid disruption of the atmospheric column initially generated a whole range of acoustic and gravity waves, which were recorded both on the ground and from space. The shock waves were so powerful that they circled the globe several times, but the plume wasn't the only consequence of the eruption. About 140 megatons of water vapor were also released into the atmosphere at a speed of 40 meters per second in the stratosphere. Eruptions release gaseous sulfur into the atmosphere, which then condenses, forming aerosols. A network of sensors around Tonga is being set up by the USGS and its Australian counterparts in order to better identify volcanic activity. This network will combine seismic stations with sound sensors and webcams that monitor for active eruptions. Experts explain why the Tonga eruption was so big. The breathtaking satellite photographs of an undersea volcano erupting in the Pacific and producing a massive mushroom cloud astounded viewers all around the world. Many people were curious about why the explosion was so large. Professor of volcanologist Shane Cronin from the University of Auckland and tsunami specialist Emily Lane from the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research from New Zealand contribute to the explanation. Big gases were trapped within the highly pressurized magma inside the volcano. It's likely that a crack in the rock caused a sudden reduction in pressure, which allowed the gas to expand and rip the magma apart. According to Cronin, the crater is located around 200 meters below the sea surface, making it the ideal depth for a large explosion in which seawater seeps into the volcano and rapidly converts into steam, accelerating the explosion's rapid expansion and energy. Eruption might create a tsunami to sweep the whole Pacific Ocean, measuring around 1 meter, which destroyed boats in New Zealand and resulted in an oil spill and 2 drownings in Peru. Scientists are now trying to determine the magnitude of the eruption and how extraordinary it was. This is important because it has implications for the hundreds of underwater volcanoes that exist in the oceans which could pose an unforeseen danger. Only a few underwater volcanoes have been extensively studied, such as the Axial Seamount and CosmoGenesis, which are equipped with sensors that monitor for rumbles. However, many more underwater volcanoes are situated in remote parts of the Pacific, making it difficult to study them, and there's no real infrastructure for this field yet. Because up until a few months ago, no one even knew things could turn out like this. Even studying Hunga is no easy feat. For starters, the volcano is located in a remote part of the Pacific near the island nation of Tonga. Getting there requires a large, fully crewed research vessel equipped with multi-beam sonar and water sampling instruments. But taking a boat over a potentially active area is risky, not so much because the volcano might blow, but because the gas bubbles might cause a ship to sink. Despite the challenges because of this explosion, researchers are finding new ways to study submarine volcanoes by studying submarine volcanoes like Hunga. They hope to gain a better understanding of how volcanoes work and how they shape the world around us, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be able to predict when the next underwater eruption is going to happen before it even begins. What do you guys think about this volcano? Let us know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching our video. See you in the next one.